before we get into some more serious business, I have to get into giving him something he can feel. The music video, nothing but men in the crowd.
Yep.
You all are wearing your signature red dresses.
Yes, we are.
Wedding rings are being dropped to the table. Ties are being loosened.
Yes, they are.
And
we had
I wish I was there.
Exactly, LaTroy. I know you do.
So, just tell me about that experience, and then whether or not the Queen of Soul reached out to you and gave you her blessing.
No, she didn't. You know, Riri, Auntie Retha, whatever you want to call her, was amazing. Come on, nobody can take that from her. But sadly, she wasn't really happy when people would redo her music, so she wouldn't say very much. And I also did Rocksteady, but I wasn't in the group. I did that for the soundtrack for Dr. Dolittle by myself. So, but yeah, with giving him something to feel, the video, it was such an iconic video in the sense that there was a guy in the video, I forget his name now, and I'm ashamed that I forgot, but he was one of the guys in the original Sparkle, where we got the song from in the first place. He was one of the guys in Sparkle. And then we had, and I just watched this the other day and was like, oh my God, LL Cool J, we never met them. There was no, when we performed all that, believe it or not, I don't think the guys were there that day. So they filmed that part separately with the guys reacting to us and putting the ring in the pocket and looking at us. Because if they would have done that with the guys there, we would have been, I wouldn't have been as sexy. You know what I mean? We were very easy go. We were very loose. You know what I mean? I could just see it. And I think it's because nobody was out there but the director and the stylist and the crew, the crew and all that stuff who were filming us. So, and then you got Johnny Gill was in there and Lavelle and these guys who are our choreographers. A few of those dancers were in there. Yeah, so it was fun. It was a lot of fun. But it would have been much more intimidating with the guys in the room.
See, I didn't know that. I figured, they were all there.
They were all there. Yeah, we may have filmed one scene with them there. They actually came in by the time we were getting ready to leave, and we did the last take with them. I think something like that. But yeah, so it's pretty cool how they can play on the camera and make you think that everybody's in the same room together. I
have a personal favorite song of yours, and that's Marathon.
Oh man, that's what's up.
So, is there any way we could get a Raheem DeVaughn and Marsha Ambrosius collaboration album? Because I feel like you both bring that old school soul, but it's also very sensual. So it's perfect for all us love makers.
We talked about it. I've been in talks with a few female artists about it. I definitely her better half. We had a conversation about it. You know what I'm saying? It hasn't been necessarily a follow-up on the conversation as of yet. Just for, obvious reasons, pandemic, family, you know what I mean? She's a parent now. But I'm open to that. It's a few people I'm open to. I had a recent conversation with another female artist that she said she with it, and we actually got a record together that we already recorded that we're finishing it up, and I don't want to say who that is yet, but if we pull this off, I think a lot of soul music R&B lovers, they ain't gonna see this one coming.
Oh, I'm looking forward to it then.
Yeah, keep raps for now, but it's I want to say it's so bad who it is, but I'm just well respected, has her own sound like myself. Play some instruments, been in the game for a while, written for lots of dope people. I'll drop a few hits, and she's just dope. She's just timeless. Whenever she puts out a record, it's just oh, she's back. So I anticipate that there'll be a Raheem DeVaughn collaboration, best of both worlds type of thing with a female artist sometime in the future.
The first song I ever wrote while I was recording, in fact, I was recording I Believe and getting prepared for my solo project. Patti LaBelle was coming in the studio for Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis to do a song for her. And the first song that I had written for my project was Right Kind of Lover.
Okay.
And
we all remember that.
and Terry Lewis came in and he said, Patty's coming in. He said, and we're going to be needing a song for her. And I was thinking it probably would be a good idea if you had an opportunity to be around her and get to know her and have an opportunity. It would be good for you, because they encouraged us to write, because they knew that it was a lifeline for every artist to be able to write and have their publishing. As we realized that the pioneers had a lot of their music and publishing stolen, so they taught us to write for yourself and make sure that you keep your publishing, because that was what the artists were missing. Being able to stand on their own feet and take care of themselves after the career is over. And they talked about how the wolf would come. It's either feast or famine, and what have you done for me lately? And if you ain't writing, then you ain't got no money at the end of your career, because they done spend it all on videos and other things that you need, and you yet sit owing that advance money.
And has there ever been a time when that wasn't the case, I wonder? I think what's different now is it's up in our face and we can't deny it.
Right.
I think it's always been the case, but we had little ways to meaning humanity itself, had so many diversions, so many things to tell us, yes, but I gotta go over here and take care of this right now. Yes, but oh yeah, they're meeting up on that hill, they'll fix it. Yes, but you know what I mean? There's so many different ways, but now it's like life has put itself front and center in front of everyone's face. And there's beauty in it, and there's ugly in it, there's good in it, there's bad in it, there's the desirable, there's the undesirable. It's all these polarities, but the things that are negative are just like, it's like somebody just took their finger and raked it over the chalkboard. The fingernail on the chalkboard, that screeching sound that just makes you stop, look, and listen.
Thank you. I like that. I see it like it's a rude awakening for a lot of individuals. Like they've been trying to brush it under the rug for hundreds of years, and now you can't do it anymore. The pile of dust has been building up for so long that it's impossible to walk into your front door and avoid it.
Well, it's triggered a worldwide awakening, a worldwide movement, a worldwide solidarity among people to stand for human decency. It's really quite simple.
Right.
And that's what's in this moment right now. I think that is phenomenal, that people all over the world have come out to stand together without a leader, mind you. Nobody organized anything and said, on this day, we're going to come out and the whole world's going to come out and say, no, it didn't happen like that. But the whole world came out to stand in solidarity for common human decency. And it would be remiss of us not to recognize and acknowledge that.
Right.
Because we are one humanity. And that's been the problem. The problem is that, so many things have led us to think of ourselves as separate and different from one another. You know?
I know.
Yeah, and that causes all of this friction. All of this friction. It's a very interesting time. It's a biblical time, isn't it?
Like, first, let's speak on your childhood and the dominoes that led to you going through an unfortunate period in your life.
Great question, man. Great question. A lot of people like to start with the peak of the iceberg instead of going to the bottom of the iceberg. I believe that a lot of decisions are made as a result of what takes place in our childhood for the most part. For me, I had a fairly decent childhood all the way up until about 16 years old. There was a tragic happened in my life, man. I lost my mother at 16 years old. Losing my mom's, I remember one day I came home and we had this disagreement about me washing dishes. As simple as the argument was, it was about dishes, I ran into the house expecting to just run in the house, drop my book bag after school, and run back out the house to play with my homies. And my mom was like, nah, you need to wash these dishes. She wasn't feeling 100%. She was a little sick, but I didn't factor all of that in at the time. So we got into this big argument. I pouted as a 16-year-old. Before you know it, I washed the dishes. I stormed out of the house. Came back later that day. She was like, I want to talk to your father about your behavior because that was uncalled for, how you responded to me about the dishes, So I was like, yeah, whatever. So my dad came home and he chastised me, he punished me, he disciplined me, put it that way, And I went to bed that night upset with my mom. So I was like, man, I don't want to say nothing to you for the rest of the night. And I walked out of the house the next morning to go to school. And within about 3 hours later, my cousin came to pick me up from school and said, your mom passed away.
Wow.
So that to me, processing the fact that my mom's died, and I felt like she died upset with me. And I felt like, I didn't get a chance to apologize to her. I was insensitive. So I internalized a lot of that guilt. And that guilt just turned into building that iceberg that led to the peak of the iceberg, which my peak of the iceberg was when I was 19 years old. I ended up taking a person's life as a result of a lot of poor decisions. A lot of poor decisions from 16 to 19 years old just put me in that cold state of mind where I was very inconsiderate in the life of another human being. I just wanted to die. So if I wasn't going to die, somebody else was going to die. And it was all consumed with the grief and the guilt that I was carrying and never was able to articulate that pain of how it felt to lose my mother at the time.